Hey, people. I just had some Jehovah Witnesses show up at my door wanting to tell me about the Bible while I was working on this. I thought it was a good time because I made this as easy as it gets. This is Exodus 30:28, and so I've been reading Exodus 29 and 30. It's talking about the priest, and the priests are the Khan. It's where your word caney come from, dog. And what I did is I flipped it around here, and I put some equivalent letters up here for people that don't recognize these letters. And then I added this visual aid here. But what this says is, what'em's buckhole, what's a clue? What occur, what's new? And so it was talking above here about what the dog said. And so he's telling me why he sniffs a butthole, and what'em's buckhole. And this is the altar. I usually read this as bitch, but I found it somewhere where it's the book, on the altar is where the book sits. But these aren't words. These are just syllables. It's got to be put in place before it has a meaning. But yeah, what'em's buckhole is what's a clue. What a clue, a CLIW, a claw, a clue. That's the claw of a bird, it's a grasp. And this is the one they'll say is utensils, the fork. It's what's a clue, what to attach the meaning. What'em's butthole, what's a clue of what occur, what happened last night. And so you see this occur in Egyptian. It's a pair of mountains with a sun in the middle, and it's actually looking down the sights of a gun is what it means, and when everything lines up, that's the time of occur. And what occur, what's new. And that's how a dog says, hey, what's up, where you been? Get a sniff of that butt. And so it tells more up in here. When you read it here with the markings, and it gives you other reading directions, and it tells more about what the dog's learning from sniffing a butt. And it tells the reason that he's talking to his dog just above this, the anointing oil, and you take for yourself spices, quality myrrh, liquid, 500 shekels, where there's no shekels in there, they just offer that up, and cinnamon, sweet smelling, half as much, 50 and 200 shekels, there's no shekels in there, and cane, sweet smelling, 50 and 200 shekels. And everybody better read this, this is in cannabis, in the cannabisum. Come see mama time, and come see mama time. You have done smoked so much cannabis, you have smoked 250 come see mama times worth. But here's a big part of the clue, and this is will fetch it. And this word only comes up 37 times in the Torah in the first 5 books, but it's concentrated most right here in Exodus 29, talking about his dog, and he will fetch it. Will fetch it. Will fetch it. About 10 times here. And I think it comes up a couple more times with one less letter. And then it only comes up this one time here in 30. It's 16. And so, and will fetch it attacks. And so that's where they're getting this money out of cusp. It's the KS, the ATKS, attacks. And so the fetch it attacks, that was the Anubis, the priest was collecting the tax money. And we'll fetch it attacks. But it's also the dog and the pick-upper, the pick-upperum, the tax pick-upperum. And so this is where you were, the vesper. The vesper comes from, which is Latin for the wasp. And you see that in the Egyptian symbol of the wasp and the sedge. They'll say it means the kings, the rulers, but it's actually the taxmen. The sedge is the X. And they'll call this a bee in sedge, but it's not. It's a wasp. You get up close and get a good look at them. You'll see that the bee's wings are more rounded. This is a wasp instead, and it's a Vespatax. Vespa TX, the Vespatax. And so Essifer is also the brother of Lucifer. Lucifer, the morning star, and Vesiper is the evening star, when Venus is in the evening sky. And we'll fetch a tax, pick up her Jimmy. The second M here is reading as I, the right hand at, the right hand man, and Vesper Jimmy at, and Benji. You know, the sons of God, the Nephilim, were Benjalis. Well, this is the sons of Israel, and they are Benjis. The sons of Isis would read the same thing. The Benjis rule when. The Benjis rule when. And so the ancient rule of Benjis, you know, Benji is a fictional canny, the priest character. And he was known for having the knack for being in the right place, the right time. You know, to be in the right place at the right time, that's the time of occur. You know, he's the god of the horizon. He guarded the eastern and western borders, protected Ra, the sun god, when he entered, and then when he returned. You know, it's a measurement of the place of occur. And we'll fetch it attacks the Vesper Jimmy at, the wasp on the right side of Benji's rule, and untie. The second T reads as an I, and untie it to, on the tie it wall. And so tie it is the ancient symbol for the ladies' room. You know, Tayet, they call the knot of Isis, the knot of Tayet, and it was a tampon. You know, the Benji's rule when Tayet to all abid it, and all the women abid. That is a ESL, the Islam would, and when Tayet to all abid it, the Islam would, the tabernacle of meeting in the Islam would, and the way hell of Benji's rule. And then the double L, you know, just reads as I, and his rule is crown upon, and you will cover all in fisticum. All in fisticum, you know, coming to a fight. All in fistucum. All in fisticum. It's also where your word, you know, the year comes from. A fiscal year, meaning the tax year, fiscal. And you see it spelled a little different down here. And you can see it here in this, you know, when you take the census of the sons of Israel for their number. You know, their number is a pick the diam. You know, your social security number. When they have the lottery to see who's going to be picked to diam, your selective service number. And then when you get down to the hex part of it, to the spell, you know, where hex to, you know, is where hex to. A spell is run of the Benjamin. That's why Benjamin Franklin was never president, but he's on your $100 bill on the hundreds. And where hex to is run of a BNJ, and so this is UM, the double M is I, is been the time of Yumi. Yumi was the god of fresh water and the god of days in Yumi. That's where your word Ben is the time, you know, the time, and the Ben, the day, Benjamin. And what a tidium, you know, and his sons from it, their hands is Benjamin a tidium, hands on a titty. But a tidium, you know, a quotidian is your chart, your birth chart is your quotidian. And so their hands were on the tidiums. They were writing up the birth charts of Venjumi. the birthday, a titium, what regulum. And so, this isn't hands and feet. This is what the hands are doing. And it's also the side, what hand, meaning what side from, and what regulum. And so regulum isn't their feet. Regul is the left foot. Rigel is here. He's the left foot of Orion. And so where hexes run of Benjamin, what titium, what regulum, what hand side from of what the regulum. So the left foot forward, that means the royal. They always have that left foot forward, stepping off with the left. And this looks like that movie I was reading a couple movies ago. So this is part of that covenant with Abraham to take over America. You got Benjamin on the front, and you got Benjamin on the back, the clock tower. So Benjamin Franklin, he wasn't no president, but he did have a printing press. He understood the Hebrew, aka Dutch. He understood the Egyptian. This is the sigillum for his college, the 7-tier pyramid. He had printed his own money. He designed money for France. And if you look into it, you might find out that his real name was Richard Saunders, and Benjamin Franklin was just a pseudonym used for the covenant of Abraham to take over America. So out of all the Abrahamic religions, I've always respected Jehovah's the most. Everybody hates them. Mama won't open the door for them. I always let them in and talk to them. But, they're out witnessing. That's what they were told that the Bible said to do. They need to go out and witness. And so that's what they're doing. They might not have a clue, but they're sure trying. But I let him know today, I'm kind of down on Christians and Jews. And they're too lazy to look in this book that they say God give them. And none of them yet has learned the language. They all expected somebody else to do it. So here's to the Jehovah's. You don't seem to be as lazy as the rest. And maybe those couple I talked to today will look into this language and find out that the King James really didn't want them to know. I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.